What's up? Clay Abernathy here with Ideal Trade Institute and your Ideal Minute. We are actually here to meet with Leah Swisher from ACT. Tons of great programs going on, and we are very excited to meet her. Let's go ahead and meet her. Hey, hi, how's it going? Leah, I'm Clay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yes.
Come on back.
Oh, thank you. So it used to be Alliance Construction Trades?
Yes.
And now it's Arizona Construction
Yes.
Trades? When did you guys change?
So actually, Alliance of Construction Trades broke off of a bigger group that's out of Phoenix. And then we changed it to Arizona Construction Trade when we wanted to branch out, not just South Tucson or Tucson area.
Okay. And then we had this nice fun thing that just happened where I was at the other building. This is a nice building. I really like this area, like the colors outside and everything. And so you have more than one program, is what I hear.
Yes.
Do you know how many programs you have, or too many to count?
Too many to count.
All right, you're like me. That's what I like.
Too many to count.
That's what I like to see. But are there certain things that you are really focusing on these days and really like?
Yes. So there's a lot of associations. So ACT is different from the other associations here in Tucson because we have an agreement with the jurisdictions to do cells for permits for like water heaters and like HVAC units. Okay. And the agreement we have is with the money that we receive from them, they let us keep as long as we give it back to the community.
So I love this, actually, but I still don't understand it. You told me that last time we met in my office, and then I went and looked. And so if I want to get a permit for an HVAC or a water heater, I go to your website and I apply for the permit there.
Correct.
And I pay the normal fees?
No.
Okay, what fees do I pay?
So first off, there's steps you have to take. Our agreement is if you are doing plumbing for the water heater, you have to go through a certification process and take a test. The test is actually at Pima Community College, but it's our test to state that you're certified and knowledgeable and going to install it correctly according to the jurisdictions.
Okay.
And then for HVAC, in order to use our system, you have to have your NAICS certification, and so does your business. And then once that occurs, you get authorization from me to use our easy permitting system to purchase the permits for replacement HVACs and replacement water heaters.
Let me just gather that information so I got it right. So on top of their plumbing license or on top of their HVAC certification and licensing, then they go and they have to take a little class. Is that right? Or
That's
is
for
it
the
in
water
lieu?
heaters.
Is it in lieu of, or you have to have both?
You have to have both.
Okay. So if I do that, is it still the same price afterwards? Is it a little bit more? Is it less? Or is it really... Does that make sense what I'm asking?
So the permits that we sell, so the water heater permits are only $22.50.
Okay.
They're higher at the jurisdictions.
Right.
And then the HVAC replacement unit permits are only $50 flat, which the jurisdiction's fees are a little bit higher.
That's
so
great.
It's an incentive to use our program and get that extra step certification.
I think the fact that we don't have to deal with the municipality is really what it is. Even if it was higher, I think I would still pay higher not to deal with the city. Nothing against the city of Tucson.
A lot of people feel that the best part of our program is that you skip what is the word?
Bureaucracy or the red tape?
No, the inspections.
Okay, so that was the other thing. So there are no inspections on these permits, or because they take your test, they're now certified to be their own inspector, essentially?
So we have an audit program that we put together with the jurisdictions, and they have to follow it, which is pretty much the same exact steps you would do if you were working straight with the jurisdictions. At any given time, they can pull your file and walk through the whole entire inspection process. So if you're not following the audit protocol and you fail your inspection, then you have problems with the jurisdiction and us.
Okay, well that's great. And then they don't get to use you anymore, and then you have to deal with the jurisdiction again.
Exactly.
Okay, so about how many, do you have a count on how many people use your program as of right now? Can you use more? I mean, what can we do to get more people in this program? Because that's pretty neat.
Right now, we're at about 262 companies that use our program.
Great.
Between water heaters and plumbers. Well,
Yeah.
not water heaters, HVAC and plumbing. So it's a great number. We definitely make enough funds to create other programs to give back to the community, and that's what our whole entire goal is.
Right. That's awesome. How long does it take to go through this class and take that test?
So it's the only snag we run into is with timing, because the college, you actually, because of COVID, they have to do security check-ins. So you have to call them and set up the appointment, and that's the only delay. Ours is instantaneous. As soon as you purchase the test online through our program, then you're eligible to go test. But then you have to call the college and set up an appointment, and that usually takes a couple of weeks. So that's the only delay.
And that's just for the plumbing one, and the HVAC is just a test, or?
So the HVAC, you don't test with us. You do go through the NATE certification process. So the HVAC, once you have your NATE, then you just send us a copy, and then we certify you in our system. So I just go in, review the NATE, make sure that it's not expired, and then approve them, and then they're able to use our system.
So is it for Pima County? Is it for City of Tucson? Is it, which municipality is it for?
So right now we have City of Tucson, Pima County, Sahuarita, and then South Tucson.
Okay, so everywhere in this area. Awesome. That's great. We will see what we can do about getting some more people there. That sounds great. So now once you get these funds, your requirement for the city, well, first of all, how did you work that deal with the city or the county? Or that I'm very interested in. I mean, how did you guys do that? That's impressive.
I wish I could take the credit for that, but I actually did not create the program. My predecessor, it was Jim Kuish. He was the original executive director who created the program. And then when I became executive director, it just kind of fine-tuned it the rest of the way. So I helped create the audit program and continued to build the program up. And then I actually am the one that created the community outreach with the funds that we're currently doing through an apprenticeship program.
Awesome. And so tell me about that. So you're required, the city requires you, the municipalities require you to do something with the funds once you get them, correct? And then you currently are working on apprenticeship programs to help people get into the trades, right? What made you guys decide to do that?
So prior to me becoming executive director, I actually worked for Pima County School Superintendent's Office.
Okay.
And I worked in several different fields, and the educational portion of it is I saw the need. We did grants there, and the grants from the state and the federal is there's a perfect box you have to fit in order to use those funds. So when I came on board here and realized that there was an opportunity to create a program that didn't have quite as many restrictions, thankfully the board was willing to allow me to explore that even more, and I was able to create the program. Okay,
so tell me a little bit more about your apprenticeship program. So what is there? Are you doing journeyman electricians? Are you putting them into the plumbing? Is there particular ones, or is it kind of still working it out?
So we launched the program October of last year, and it's really interesting the way it works. So in my mind, I wanted it to be this perfect collaboration between 3 different entities, and it's so far it's been fabulous. So the way it works is, in order to use our apprenticeship program, you have to be a member of our association, and the member would hire a student. So it would be any field, and that's the beauty of this program. If the college doesn't have the educational piece, for instance, we had a framer that came forward and said that they wanted to take on an apprentice. Well, when I spoke to the college, they didn't actually have a framing program. So we created one with them, and then they went to state, and the state decided to back the program as well. So it really is unique, because if the student comes forward, so the member will hire the student comes forward and says, I only want to do 2 years of college, that's fine, they can. Or they can say, I want a 4-year journeyman. That's fine, they can. The way the program works is, as long as our member keeps them on as an employee, they can go to school simultaneous while they're working with our member and getting hands-on experience. And then ACT steps in. Our portion is, after 90 days, if our member is happy with the work being done and the student is doing academically correct on their side through the PCC, then we will pay for the schooling. So the student will receive free education from ACT in the trades industry while getting hands-on experience working with one of our members. So the idea is our members will gain possibly a 4-year employee. The employee will gain a free college education, and then we will gain keeping our member.
Right.
So it's a win-win on all three corners.
Right. That's a win-win-win.
It is.
Well,
It's a win-win-win.
And you know how I feel about free
Exactly.
education for the trades. I
There
think
we go.
that's
It's
fantastic. Hence the
amazing.
reason that we're here today is because
Mhm.
we're very similar in thoughts and ideas. So we really like that.
That's exciting.
Are those the only programs you're working on right now, or those are really the two big ones that
Those
are
are the
really
two
going
big
on?
ones.
Those will take a lot of time, it seems like.
It does.
So how does somebody get involved as wanting to be a student with ACT?
So we actually have 2 ways. Sometimes our members already have people who are working for them, and because our program doesn't have an age cutoff, anyone can enroll. So sometimes our members will say, I have this gentleman or young lady who want to go into the program, then we connect them with the PCC, and then the PCC, so Pima Community College, steps in and helps get them going in our program.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other way is if our member needs an employee, they actually get a hold of our member and say, what are you looking for in an employee? And then the college writes up basically a job description of what our member is looking for and sends it to all the students on campus.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have students come forward, do the interview process, get hired, and then go into the program.
That's awesome.
As well. We're also actively working on another one that's the one I wanted Ideal Institute to be involved in.
Okay.
So it's Southern Arizona Career Days, and that one's November 2nd and 3rd.
Right, which we're in for. Yes,
Yes.
We're excited about that.
So that program, it's bringing all the associations together.
Mm-hmm.
So we're active, SABA's active, ABA, ATB, all these associations here in Tucson have united together to bring Southern Arizona Career Days, and its construction career days, into a bigger, it went dormant because of COVID, and now it's not. Basically what it is we're allowed to bring 8th graders up through high school to us, all the construction industry folks, and they get 2 full days of hands-on experience seeing what all these entities do. And but the purpose of it is so when they come up to your booth, say I'm doing electric, they're going to do some type of a activity that shows them what it's like to be an electrician. And they get all the background history on all these companies. So it's electrician, it's plumbing, it's HVAC, it's bulldozing, masonry. You think of anything and it's going to be there. So I feel like it's a huge community outreach to get kids interested in going into the trades instead of the typical college route. There's nothing wrong with going to college, but everyone's not made to go to college.
Why do you think it's important that kids get into the trades these days? What do you think we're missing in education right now?
I think
Because you said 8th grade and up. Why, we're lacking so much in schools these days where I think we're starting to see the struggle in the trades. Let me phrase that a little bit better. Why are you so passionate about the trades?
I grew up in the trades. You know that phrase, jack of all trades? I'm pretty much that person.
Yes.
I came from a small town. I've done a lot from landscaping to building homes, and I see the value in it. And I think we all experienced with the COVID, the essential workers were all in the construction industry. We all have to have the construction industry up and functioning in order to live day to day. So the importance is to continue moving forward. We need more people going into these trades because right now we're in a time where the men and women who have all these expertise are retiring.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't get our younger generations educated before they leave, this knowledge that they had prior to technology is going to be lost. And technology is huge right now, and we're going in that realm. But if it was to ever disappear for a day, what would we do?
Right.
So
Yeah, well, the technology doesn't work without the buildings.
exactly.
None of the tech stuff works without the people who built the infrastructure to do so, and that's still brick and mortar. And I doubt that will ever go away until we can use the force and raise the buildings from the ground. Maybe one day that'll happen, but I'm not sure that'll happen right now.
I agree.
And so it is not as exciting for people because they think of that, but it is extremely exciting to think that you are building the infrastructure for everything. You're building the infrastructure for the roads. You're building the infrastructure for the hospitals, for the big Tesla plants, for everything, right? Without those guys who are building it, none of it exists. And we've done a really poor job at letting people know what essential is. And I think during the pandemic, since you brought it up, I think that the pandemic did a really great job of showing who we really need all the time. And if you really want to be wanted or you really want to be needed all the time, the trades is probably where you want to be, because you will be needed all the time. Thank you so much, Leah, for all your time and letting us come visit you at ACT.
Thank you.
We really appreciate everything that you're doing here in the trades and educating us and them on the amazing programs that you have here and what you guys are doing to get us in. This has been the Ideal Minute and More Than You Can Imagine with Leah Swisher at ACT. And we appreciate you for joining us.